Alright. Hello there. I'm gonna play some Super Mario Advance 4's Super Mario Bros. 3. Now this is my favorite iteration of this game because of the remastered flight mechanics. And yes, they did significantly change them. If you're familiar with new Super Mario Bros. 2 for the 3DS's flight mechanics, they're pretty much these ones. This is pretty sweet. Now, actually, today I've got some crazy thing I just did. I'm using Mednafen, right? It's a really sweet emulator that does a lot of different systems, right? I hooked up my GameCube controller for it, of course, and I just kind of. It's got like rewind and slow down on it. It's really sweet. And I just made this really fun tool-assisted run on here. I think I just want to view and comment on. Let's see if I can get this to run. Shift F7, I believe. Here it goes. Alright, so this is running now. I don't have to input this. I already did this. I was screwing around on here. But I just had a lot of fun with this. It took me a lot longer than it takes to actually watch it, but so as you can see, I'm just pretty stuff that'd be pretty difficult if you were to play it like legit. And as you can see already, I was able to refresh the flight a few times. That's a legitimate flight, a legitimate mechanic. You don't have to cheat for that. That's why I love this version so much. Otherwise, it's essentially just a repackaged version of the All-Stars one, which is nice. I didn't have an SNES growing up though, so I played the NES one over and over again. It's a good one. I can't go back and play it. Like I tried to the other day, and it was all right. It's just without the ability to refresh flight, it became kind of tedious. This is fun. And I was just screwing around here. I mean, I don't even use the emulator functions here. I just wanted those coins. Oh, yeah, I was getting some flight here. But unfortunately, it didn't seem to carry over. I don't know why. And those Goombas are dead. You can see I'm mashing that button way too quickly. You cannot hit it that quickly in real life. And I'm also making certain that I get the stars at the end of the level instead of just the anything you happen to get. So it's a little tail wagging thing. I was just abusing the emulator functions here just to get all that crazy crap. This I pretty much just did because it's just fun. As you can see, so the flight mechanics, actual flight mechanic changes in this are if you're on a surface and you're running, I don't believe you don't have to have full momentum like in Super Mario World to refresh it, or Super Mario Bros. X, which is a fan game, which is amazing. But you can just refresh the flight if the power meter's at full, and you just kind of are holding the run button and forward in a direction, and you just kind of jump, like bound off of a surface. The only difference from New Super Mario Bros. 2 is that in New Super Mario Bros. 2, the power meter actually declines as you're flying to allow you to gauge when you need to refresh it. So yeah, that was pretty sick. I had to duck at several instances there. One to actually avoid getting hit, and once to just avoid, having to slow down. Because if you hit a surface, then your momentum slows. And here I just thought it'd be fun if I only used if I only pressed down right before I needed to hit those guys. And I was just screwing around with that buzzy beetle shell. I really love this, like World 1 to me just feels so amazing. It's just something... I don't know how many times I started this up as a kid and just played, like, the first few levels, and then just did something else. World 1's really fun. And I also don't know how many times as a kid I just kind of booted this game up, right? The NES version, the one I had. And just, you know, use the warps to get all the... Like, I beat this game a lot as a kid. I never pulled this kind of crap, though. Also, I never touched the ground there, which is why the flight ran out at the end. This level, you know, I've tried to... Okay, so what I do here, I've tried to do that so many times, legitimately. I only got it once. And it's actually really hard to fly at that point. I don't know why, it's just... There's so little leeway to actually get started. And again, I'm mashing that in slow-mo, so that's why... Like, I'm just literally mashing the button, but if it's in slow motion... Which is, it was running at 1/4 speed, which is how I did a lot of the crazy stuff. I just slowed the game down. And if I did it wrong, I could just rewind, which is why it's... And so I was just like flirting with this stupid... Fire flower. I got it right at the end, but apparently it doesn't count if it's on the last frame, even though it played the sound. So anyway, yeah, I'm getting the whistles here. I got the whistles here. I got 2 of them. I'm not gonna be... I don't do the whole thing. I just do the warp route. I literally did this like 40 minutes ago. So this is an auto-scroller. It was kind of hard to think, like, what should I do for this, right? And I just kind of screwed around, and I decided I should try to get as many 1-ups as I could. So I think that was 9, and at that point there was nothing else to jump on, so I just kind of let the controller go limp for a minute. I do that a few times. You know, true story, I did not know you could use your tail to kill the bullet bills until just recently, when I was screwing around. It's such a risky move. Also, I found this by accident. I did not know you could use your tail on this. I just wasn't standing in the right place, and... I pressed B, and it's like, whoa, what? So I thought I had fun with it. Yeah, I mean, I jump around and do a lot of extra junk in here that you wouldn't do in a speedrun, so this is by no means a Taz. This is just me having fun. Taz is a tool-assisted speedrun, by the way. Alright, so here I basically just use both of the warp whistles. Something I found as a kid, like, that when you use the warp whistle, it brings you to the zone, but depending on which world you're in one of 3 slots. Now, you see, I was in a slot with 4, what was it? 5, 6, and 7, right? Let's show it again. Let's see. Yeah, 5, 6, 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now, it depends which world you're in. If you want to warp to 8, I believe you have to be in 7. And to get to 7, you have to at least warp from 2. So what I end up doing every time is just getting the 2 whistles, getting legitimately to World 2, and then just blowing them both. The first to get to World 7, like I just did, and then the second to get to World 8. I just love this emulator, these functions, because you just use that tail for everything. I mean, everything they let you. It's a little sad, but you can't actually use it on these things. Those little cannonballs. I'm saying nuggets. Cannon nuggets. Yeah. And it sucks. Because you can use them on the bullet bills, but you can't use them on that. I don't know why. It took me a while to get that right. I was like, I wanted to look cool, so I just like shrink and then. Like, I'm gonna get hit on purpose, right? And then immediately get the super leaf. See, this is what I'm saying. Like, you could. It'd be so difficult to get in reality. Like, you could get it relatively easily by just slowing your character down and then just, you know, taking your time and like smack. Because that guy's not moving that quickly. He's just meandering back and forth, and the only thing you really have to worry about is this boomerang. So this entire level, except for like this little part right here, where I just used the tail a few times for fun, I pretty much didn't use the functions. Just because all you have to do is just swim under it. So I'm literally just playing this in real time. Just sitting, because I've done this dozens of times as a kid. I just found out, it was one of those things, I was just sitting there playing it, and, you know, way back when, didn't have the internet, so you couldn't look it up. And I was like, wait, is there, like, can you swim in that feces? Like, I don't know if you can swim in that. I mean, I don't know if you want to, but turns out you can. It's tricky to not get caught on one of the first brackets there, because you can get caught on them and it won't let you move forward, and then you just get crushed by the screen moving. But if you can get under, like, the third or fourth one, I think the first one is 3 and the second one is 4, you can just swim under the whole level, which, playing it legitimately, made it just a cakewalk. The only problem here is, obviously, I literally had to wait to get back up. So I think that's about as quickly as you can beat that guy. To be honest. The next one I do without the emulator functions, but that one I tried to time it down to like the frame. Alright, see these little hand things will come out and grab you? It actually grabbed me the first time. I rewound, waited part of a second, and then just went across again and it didn't get me. So I guess it's based on the system time or something. So there's just way too many auto-scrollers in World 8, to be honest. Try to make the best of it and just use the tail to kill these things. So I'm trying to think. I think the only time I get hit in this is that one time I did that for Flare. Every other time I just... like, I don't get hit again, I don't believe. And so that one wasn't... I didn't use the emulator for that. I played that enough to know the timing. Which is why I didn't, like, time the ball perfectly, because I don't know. Even as a kid, when I was playing this a lot, I can never time that ball perfectly. It's just... you know, within, like, a quarter of a second. Oh, this level always gave me a lot of trouble as a kid. I would always try to fly over it, right? The best I could do is get into that pipe, right? And you get these free 3 1-ups, which is not bad. I think this puts you somewhere else, I forget. It skips a little bit, but... I mean, I never got to fly more than that as a kid, though. It's so difficult to kill those piranha plants while you're flying with your tail. Yeah, I had to rewind that like 20 times. It was awful. Ooh. Now I'm just watching this. This is... Good God. See what I'm saying? You can keep the flying going forever. I mean, you might want to just steer clear of the enemies, but... I mean, legitimately, you could fly over most of that stuff as long as you just avoid the vicinity of the enemies. And that was my last 5. That was the last level that gives a panel. So I just figured I'd blow the Starman there, because why not? Those little energy balls are a pain. Okay, let's see. So, you know, some of these tricks I've actually managed to pull off when I was just playing this legitimately, but I don't try most of them, because I tend to play these games a lot more cautiously. Especially when I have a Super Leaf or Tanuki suit, I just don't want to lose it. Although Tanuki suit, you can be a bit more ridiculous with, because you've got that slight invincibility mechanic. Although it really hurts when you lose that. I remember as a kid, I was like, oh, I finally got one of the Tanuki suits, right? Because they're like super rare. You can't just find them in any level, right? And then you'd lose it and you'd be like, oh! Alright, so most of this level I did without emulator functionality, just because I don't know, it's an auto-scroller. Okay, except for this part. Those were super precise. And in this little part, I wanted to make sure I was in the right position. And I had to rewind a few times because those wrenches kept hitting me. But this part right here, I was like, I need to fly, right? See if I can keep it going. It was just so much fun. I literally lucked into just jumping off those 2 things. I didn't have to rewind that, I just got super lucky. I think there's a bit of leeway when you're flying, too. Maybe it's something to do with falling, and when you clip. I know, like, Wario World or something had that. Wario Land. It was one of those games. Maybe it was Mario 6 golden coins. Whatever. Alright, so last level, I decided to go ahead and blow my last 2 items. I usually save a P-Wing for this when I'm playing it. Like on the NES, I would definitely want to have one for this level. The only real trouble is getting hit right at the beginning by these stinking energy balls. I don't know how many times that made me just sad. At least there's a 1-up here, so you can always keep trying again. You're just small. Yeah, and that fireball may have looked easy. I had to rewind like 12 times to avoid hitting it. It was so close, and I missed it by 1 frame. Alright, here we go. So, here's Bowser. Didn't take that long, I guess. I guess okay, so in the NES version, I'd gotten here before with a P-Wing, legitimately, but I was just going super slowly to avoid getting hit. And I tried flying up, and it's like, oh, it keeps going left to right. I wanted to see if they changed that, and they hadn't. But yeah, I don't know, I think only one time did I ever manage to hold on to my P-Wing here, my Power Wing. the NES version, I almost always got hit, just like once. You just get so sad too, because like, it was so majestic and now it's crap. Also, I'm taunting him. I'm pretty sure I'm like 1 pixel away from clipping into him. And he's dead. Funny thing about this, I actually found out just today that if you jump into that pit, or fall in, or fly in, and go too far down, you will die, and you won't beat the game because you died. Even after it says level cleared, if you fall in right now, and they take away your power too. I was literally right over that pit, they took it away, and I fell right in, and I was like, what? Thank you, Mednafen. Yeah. Anyway, I love this game. Jeez. Just gonna watch your credits now, I guess. So, I don't know what I'm gonna do with this video, because it's a little dangerous to put it up on YouTube. To be honest, it's kind of a bad idea to put Nintendo videos on YouTube. I like to go flagging people. I don't have any flags yet. Just screwing around. I really like this. I needed something to detox. I was just getting around to the 1.7 update for Darkcraft, and I spent 12 hours straight on it today. Holy crap! I think I put like 40-something hours into it so far, the update. This is the longest update ever. It literally changed everything. There isn't a single file that doesn't need like a massive overhaul. It really sucks. Anyway. Ooh, so I needed a detox. Mario! This game's fun. See, can I just end the play? But it doesn't matter. Alright, so there you go, Mario Fun. Thanks for watching.